You lot are in for a lot of work next year, aren't you? Oh, sorry, did I put that there? Look, our goal here with Holland Park Hawks is to develop better people. Okay, we're going to do that though through a football program. It's not about developing better footballers and hope that you're going to become better people. You know, if you're not a good person, we don't want you here in the first place. Alrighty? But it's important that we establish lifelong habits. Things your kids take away with them: friendships, respect, resilience, dedication, commitment, goal setting, loyalty. And we do that through football, not the other way around. Okay? These are things you take away in life. Being a good player certainly isn't good enough. You know, when you look at things, you can have all the ability in the world, but if you don't possess respect, resilience, display initiative, have a willingness to learn, if you can't cooperate with others, can't take responsibility, exhibit discipline, show dedication, have commitment, and have the right attitude, you're of no use to anyone. It's not just about you being a good player. These are traits that are not only for football, but for life. So if you want to go and get a job, display those characteristics, you'll be successful. I've owned a number of businesses and run different organisations over the years. And whenever I've looked for potential employees, there's always been young people who've been involved in team sports, who display these traits. Why? Because they're team players. Okay? Performance driven, not results orientated. I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's our program. We are performance driven. The football matters. You know, I kept asking players all the way through the trial period, have you shown us your best effort? Most said no. Why would you come to a trial environment and not give your best effort? Seriously. So why wouldn't you go onto the park and provide us with your best effort every time you go out on the park? We're expecting players to perform at their best always. Okay? Training, games, off the field, how they present themselves and by their actions. You need to have some belief in the process. Success takes time. You as parents are going to notice things we're not good at, particularly early in the year. It's always easiest to see the bad. What you may not know is our planning may not have got us working in those areas yet. Okay? So it's a process. And if you've seen previously with our team periodisations, it's a very intricate development process. But it is a process that we follow, and hopefully we get gradual improvement as we go. We have an expectation of starting at a certain point and finishing at a certain point towards the end of the year. The program itself is centred around how we play and how our team performs, not what the result is at the end of the day. Winning games becomes a consequence of what we're doing and how we're performing, not simply trying to overpower the opposition and win ugly. So there's going to be games where we played well and lost. Maybe by a better side. I hope it's by a better side. Maybe by a more physical side. But it's how we play that's important. There's a saying that says, ability gets you noticed, but attitude gets you selected. You've all recently come through our recent trial process, or for a better word, a trial process. It's a frustrating time for players, frustrating time for coaches and administrators as well. It's hard work. Due to the tedious nature of trialling, we are having to identify players, making offers to players, waiting their acceptances and coming back. Sometimes they don't come back. You know, so it's very, very difficult. Communications, players constantly looking for other opportunities at other clubs. You know, so that's a real challenge for us. The thing with that, for players here at Holland Park, those that were retained, or basically you were offered a position within the NPL program for this year without having to trial, we've had 12 months to assess you. You've worked within our programs. You know, we know everything about them. We know what their attendances are like. We know what their attitude to training is like, how their games are, their strengths, their weaknesses, parental support, whether they show initiative or not, and whether they've got potential. They've been on trial every day for the last year. So every time you put on a Hawk shirt, you're on trial. Don't need just 3 weeks of the year to say, oh, we're going to pick him. If we've seen you for 12 months, we know more about you than what you know about yourself. New players though, who our coaches have selected, well, we've taken a punt on you because your ability got you noticed. We saw how you performed and we thought, yeah, we can work with that. We don't really know much more though, outside of what we've seen. We don't know if you have the attitude to be successful or if your personality lets you become part of the team dynamic. We hope it does, but it may not. We don't know what your home life is like or if you get good support from your parents. We hope you do. What happens from here now is up to you to be selected week in and week out. You have to earn the right to play, all right? So all we ask is for your best effort. With regards to our prehab activation, this normally begins 15 minutes before the on-field training session. So I normally notice players coming in and they're straight out of the car park, in their boots, straight onto the park, starting training sessions. You need to get there 15 minutes earlier at least. Okay, if the scheduled training session starts at 6 o'clock, you need to be there at 5:45. You don't arrive in boots, you'll arrive in training shoes, we'll go into that later on, but you need to get here, get changed, get on the park and start your pre-game activation because that's important for us. Pre-game activation is going to incorporate things like fast feet, sprints, and be ready to start training with the coach. So all your flexibility work and whatnot will be done there as well. Our physio team will establish the activation program and set the standards. They're going to come in and monitor it a little bit more this year. For the last 12 months, we've actually just let you go off your own devices. It hasn't been good enough. What we need to do is modify things so it actually becomes of more use, so you're getting more benefit out of it. Basically, it's about getting the body temperature up with some dynamic activity, a series of the FIFA 11 body activation exercises, some stabilisation and flexibility exercises, and some fast feet activities. This is about reducing injuries and improving body stabilisation and flexibility. So it's all part of what we're actually asking you to do as a player. So you know, the change rooms are there to be used. We want you to come in and use the change rooms. Each team's allocated a change room. So when you come in for training next year, go there, take your bag when you arrive. You should be arriving in training shoes, not your boots. Change into your boots while you're in the change room, then get out on the field and start your activation, all right? And then you leave the same way. You go back to the change rooms, change out of your boots, put your shoes and socks on, then you can leave. When you leave the change rooms though, don't try and get in there and get out quickly so you're not having to take any responsibility. What we'd like you to do is check the change room, make sure there is nothing left behind. Because last year, every night at training, I would have picked up at least 2 tracksuit jackets and 2 pairs of pants or a shirt or 5 pair of shin pads. You know, how do your parents afford this? You know, half of it never got collected again. You just forgot about it. So this year I'm going to charge you back. For every piece of apparel that we have to give back to you, you're going to get charged $1 and then we're going to take the staff on a holiday. I reckon we could go to Europe on the money that we can save next year. All right? So that's important for you.